the Thoroughbred. Perhaps the most majestic athlete in all of sports. His is a heritage of enduring spirit, electrifying speed, and unyielding courage. The bluegrass country of Kentucky is home to racing's legends and the birthplace of future champions. The history of American racing has been often recounted by stories written in nearby Louisville beneath the twin spires of Churchill Downs. For 114 years, fans have come to witness the Kentucky Derby and share the moment of triumph in the fabled Run for the Roses. And now, in the fall of 1988, the famed Twin Spires would be a most fitting backdrop to racing's newest championship. Because in recent years, champions have been crowned on one spectacular day of racing. That day is the Breeders' Cup.
Get your Breeders' Cup Special Edition for 35 cents!
A special feeling of excitement surrounded the fifth running of the Breeders' Cup. The city of Louisville, well known for its homespun derby hospitality, was quick to catch the Breeders' Cup spirit. And this community on the banks of the Ohio River welcomed it with open arms. Just up the road from the souvenir stands of the downtown shopping arcades, anticipation was building as America's most historic racetrack was ready to host its first Breeders' Cup Day.
Stat sheets there. Comments on every horse. $2, sir.
Another long shot winning day today, Carter. How about a winner here today?
The stage was set for a day to remember.
Perhaps it is the finest assemblage of thoroughbred racehorses ever for the 5th Breeders' Cup and the first ever here at Churchill Downs. 2 Kentucky Derby winners slated to run on the card today. An undefeated super filly by the name of Personal Ensign, who will make her last start this afternoon in the Breeders' Cup this day.
But it is America's horse, Ali Sheba, favorite for the $3 million Classic, who has everyone here talking.
Ali Sheba. Ali Sheba is the greatest.
I like Ali Sheba, and I think he's going to prove today he's the best horse in the country.
The Breeders' Cup is racing Super Bowl. 7 championship races for a total of $10 million. The final 2 events, the $2 million Turf and the $3 million Classic, are the richest races of their kind in the world. It is clearly a day reserved for the sports superstars. Some of them were gathering in the paddock for the day's first race, the Breeders' Cup Sprint. The 1985 Sprint champion, Precisionist, was there with his owner, the renowned horseman Fred Hooper. Standing in Hooper's path was distinguished owner and breeder Ogden Phipps, whose first of 5 starters on this day was his undefeated colt, Mining. Trainers Shug McGahee and regular rider Randy Romero, himself a Breeders' Cup champion jockey, hoped the sprint would be the start of a string of victories for the Phipps stable. But in addition to the formidable competition, they would have to overcome a track condition which was less than ideal. Superstar jockey Angel Cordero aboard Gulch looked to improve his Breeders' Cup record of only one win in 26 attempts. Pat Valenzuela, on defending sprint champion Very Subtle, followed Cordero in the parade to the post. So it would be former sprint champ Precisionist with Chris McCarron, along with the second betting choice Gulch and the filly Very Subtle, that would challenge the favorite Mining in this $1 million event for the world's fastest horses.
And we're nearing the start of the first Breeders' Cup race of the afternoon, the Breeders' Cup Sprint. A field of 13 crack sprinters going to the starting gate.
And they're off. Gulch broke alertly on the outside. Calistoga is away quickly. Mining was also away well. And toward the inside, it's Very Subtle and Olympic Prospect. Olympic Prospect and Very Subtle. And those two will fight it out early, and Mining is right there.
Into the turn for home, speedster Olympic Prospect had the lead, with defending champion Very Subtle a close second. The favorite, Mining, along with Precisionist, appeared to be in good position behind the leaders. But it was in the storied stretch of Churchill Downs that the race would be won.
Last year's winner, Very Subtle, now running at him from the inside. Precisionist is right there, racing in third position, and in between horses, Gulch is right there for Very Subtle, has now taken the lead on the outside. Play the King is charging hard. Gulch is right there, Gulch emerging with the lead. Play the King, it's Gulch, Play the King, here's the wire, and Gulch has won it. And a salute for victory from Angel Cordero Jr.
Angel Cordero had done it. In a dramatic effort, he broke his Breeders' Cup jinx and proved to one and all that Gulch was, in fact, the fastest horse in the land.
And when the horse went by the wire, it was like self-satisfaction of proving a whole group of people that I could feed any horse, of proving people that he was the best sprinter in America. This is the best sprinter in America!
Trainer D. Wayne Lucas savored the moment.
That may be as a satisfying one as we've had.
Another look at the sprint shows Cordero's skills as he guided Gulch through the stretch, splitting horses not once, but twice.
When that jack on the outside saw my head in there, he was trying to close the horse, which I don't blame him. And as hard as he was trying to close the horse, as hard as I was trying to make the hole.
It was Cordero's first Breeders' Cup win since 1985. But for Lucas, it was an unprecedented 7th trip to the Breeders' Cup Winners' Circle. And it was the first visit for smiling owner Peter Brandt, who was presented the trophy by Breeders' Cup President James E. Bassett III. No trainer has stamped his emblem on as many Breeders' Cup championships as D. Wayne Lucas. For Team Lucas, as Wayne and his son Jeff are often called, the 5th running of the Breeders' Cup was yet another opportunity to rewrite their records. Having won the first race, Lucas prepared an equine team for the day's second event, the $1 million juvenile for fillies. Remarkably, in a field of 12 horses, Lucas saddled nearly half the contenders. One of his jockeys was Julie Crone, who was to become the first female ever to ride in a Breeders' Cup race.
I have the best of both worlds. I'm the 3rd leading rider in the nation, and at the same time, I'm the first person to accomplish something because of something gender-related. So everything's kind of on my side right now because I am performing and winning races, and at the same time, I'm a girl. So it's like the best of everything.
Crone, aboard Derby Shuffle, led the powerful 5-horse Lucas entry to the post. Behind her came Lafitte Pincay on the 1A, Leah Lucinda. Angel Cordero was going for back-to-back wins, this time riding 1C, Open Mind, followed by Some Romance, the 1F, considered to be the best of Lucas's fillies, while Chris McCarron, aboard One of a Klein, rounded out the Lucas team. At the start of the race, Angel Cordero, aboard Open Mind, gathered the reins and held the Lucas charge in a position behind the early leaders. As the 2-year-old fillies headed into the clubhouse turn, Cordero seemed content to keep his mount clear of trouble on the outside and off the pace.
One of a kind has asked for run. Early Eloquent Minister is right there, and in between horses.
Up the backstretch, 2 of Lucas's fillies pressed the leader. Cordero and Open Mind were yet to be in the picture. But this mile and a 16th race would not be won in the early going. The winner would be decided in a thrilling stretch drive.
Some Romance now is sent through and opening toward the inside. Leah Lucen is also right there. Open Mind is moving through. Approved to Fly is also right there. And a Firm Classic. It is wide open. Anyone's race. Derby Shuffle moving into contention. Approved to Fly is there. Some Romance. Open Mind playing on the outside. Derby Shuffle. Open Mind now emerging with the lead. Derby Shuffle. Open Mind wins it going away.
Cordero had done it again, this time outlasting entry mate Derby Shuffle and Julie Crone, who finished a game second in her initial Breeders' Cup start.
That's a hell of a start, I'll tell you that. I'm thrilled to be.
History had repeated itself quickly on this Breeders' Cup day, and Wayne Lucas had every reason to celebrate. Uncharacteristically, Angel Cordero showed little emotion following his second straight win. But in this case, it was for good reason.
And when she went by the wire, I was too tired to show any emotion. I was all out, like they say in our business.
Cordero and Open Mind brought home a 6th Breeders' Cup championship for owner Gene Klein. For trainer Lucas, it was the 1-2-3 sweep that made the victory even sweeter.
We had bench strength and we were strong from top to bottom. We had conflicting styles, and it would have been a terrible disappointment to run 5 of them and not get the win. To run 1-2-3 was just the icing on the cake.
For over a century, many of the sport's great horses have made their marks in history under the spires on Kentucky Derby Day. And that tradition of greatness was expected to be continued on this Breeders' Cup Day by an exceptional, undefeated filly named Personal Ensign. A victory in the $1 Million Distaff could earn her and her owner, Ogden Phipps, the coveted Horse of the Year title. But Team Lucas had a super-fast filly of their own in Winning Colors, who herself made history on this track only 6 months earlier. After instructing his rider, Randy Romero, Personal Ensign's trainer, Shug McGahee, headed trackside to witness his filly's date with destiny. As the race approached, a light rain fell on the Kentucky fans as they admired their Derby champion and her parade to the post. The overwhelming betting favorite, however, was Personal Ensign in the familiar black and cherry red silks of the Phipps stable.
Personal Ensign has taken her place in the starting gate, and she will certainly take her place in history as one of the greatest fillies of all time.
She seeks to retire here undefeated, the first major American horse to do so in 80 years. There is a Derby winner in the field in Winning Colors who seeks to stop her streak at 12.
And they're up in the distaff. Goodbye, Halo. Broke well in Winning Colors now, and she's going to run right on the lead early. Well, On the Move has come out running in third, and she's taken in hand. Integra now has been gathered back in fourth position as they head for the first turn. Personal Ensign was away in good order now.
Trainer D. Wayne Lucas anxiously watched the trackside monitor as his filly took an uncontested early lead in the 1 1/8 distaff, while Randy Romero kept Personal Ensign off the pace.
Away on the inside, and then Classic Crown is one horse beaten, and that is Hail the Cab as they round the first turn. And the Derby winner is loose on the lead. It's Winning Colors now, and she's opened up by 4.5 lengths. Goodbye Halo is second, and Vasquez asking Shamsay for run now third toward the inside. Willa on the move is racing in fourth. Integra is fifth on the outside. Personal Ensign, the undefeated filly, is now 9 lengths off the lead as they continue up the backstretch. It's still Winning Colors loose on the lead by 2.5. Shamsay is running second. On the outside, Goodbye Halo and straight.
Winning Colors led the way around the final turn in the same front-running style that had made her only the third filly in 114 years to capture the prized Derby crown. With his filly's fluid stride still strong, victory for Lucas seemed assured. And Shug McGahee knew that Personal Ensign was running out of ground.
Goodbye Halo is charging hard. Here comes Personal Ensign, unleashing a furious run on the outside, but it is still Winning Colors. Goodbye Halo. Personal Ensign, a 16th of a mile from the wire. Winning Colors is there. Personal Ensign, a dramatic finish, and here is the wire, and it is Personal Ensign there. At the 16th pole, it looked like Personal Ensign was facing her first defeat, but in those final 110 courageous yards, she certainly proved herself a champion this afternoon.
It was one of the most stunning victories in racing history. Personal Ensign ended her career in grand style, thus becoming the first champion to retire undefeated in 80 years.
You know, it was something we pointed for a long time, the Breeders' Cup. In fact, everything we've done this year has been try to get here the best way we possibly could. I thought a lot of that was going to go out the window there for a minute.
McGahee's feeling was understandable. Personal Ensign was placed well behind the leader at the top of the stretch. She would need all the courage of a true champion to catch Winning Colors in the run to the wire.
To be able to make up as much ground as she did behind a slow pace, and to be able to come on and beat Winning Colors and Goodbye Halo, the Oaks and Derby winner. It just shows the courageousness of her and her will to win.
This would be an everlasting moment for Randy Romero, who rode Personal Ensign in 12 of her 13 victories.
You know, there's a lot of people that ask me what was my biggest thrill of racing, and I never could answer. Now I can say it's Personal Ensign in the Breeders' Cup. It was the greatest feeling in the world.
After years of countless winner's circle ceremonies, this was perhaps the most satisfying one of all for the Phipps family, thanks to one of the greatest fillies ever to step on a racetrack, a super filly named Personal Ensign. A crowd of over 70,000 fans filled Churchill Downs for this premiere day in racing, and for many among them, it would be an experience not soon forgotten.
We're a friendly town, we have a lot to offer. Churchill Downs is beautiful, and hey, we're having fun.
Like the Super Bowl, the Breeders' Cup changes locations each year. Fans from all walks of life come from near and far to be part of this special day in sports.
It was a long drive from Biloxi, Mississippi. All the way from Canada. We love it down here.
We're from town, you can tell.
Among those that journeyed to Churchill Downs was the French filly Miesque. She came together with trainer Francois Boutin in hopes of repeating her championship performance in last year's Breeders' Cup Mile.
The rail opens up for Miesk. Here comes Miesk now to take a short lead. Show Dancer is right there on the outside. And Sonic Lady putting in her run toward the rail. But it is Miesk, and Miesk is going to win it.
But for Boutin, this was a new year, and his filly would race on a different track. Pat Edery was aboard the English star and race favorite Warning, while America's chances seemed to rest with the inimitable Angel Cordero on Simply Majestic. As the international field made its way from the dirt track to a grass course labeled Firm, Francois Boutin looked for his champion filly.
Moving into the starting gate now, and we're ready for the Breeders' Cup Mile. And they're off. Bet Twice breaks alertly. Steinlen was also out fast. Simply Majestic is hustled away, and Master Christopher now sprinting up from the outside to grab the early lead. It's Master Christopher now who goes on with it. Simply Majestic is gathered back in second. Mohammed Abdu is away well in third position. Steinlen is fourth toward the inside. Piccolo Polo on the outside.
In the first of two Breeders' Cup races to be contested on the turf, the Churchill Downs course showed the effects of the previous night's rainstorm. But as the horses raced up the backstretch, Freddie Head kept Miesk on firm ground and out of trouble, while waiting to make his move on the turn for home.
And Miesk is now moved within 4.5 lengths of the lead. It's a gap of 6 lengths to Ravenella and Warning, who's just beginning to get underway. They're coming to the top of the stretch now. Niccolo Polo on the outside. Simply Majestic toward the rail. Those two are head-to-head. And here comes the French filly, Miesk, charging hard on the outside. Yes! Steinlen is now fourth. And now they're down to the final furlong. Miesk is charging hard to take the lead now. She's looking for back-to-back wins in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and she's leading by 3 and pouring it on, pulling away impressively here. Miesk has won it. Oh, Miesk, what a filly.
The resounding victory made Miesk the first horse to win consecutive championships in Breeders' Cup history. And Francois Boutin became the first trainer to send out the same horse to successfully defend the Breeders' Cup title. No translation was needed for this celebration, however, as Miesk's jubilant owner, Stavros Niarchos, gladly accepted his second Breeders' Cup trophy. And with this victory, Freddie Head and Miesk warmed the hearts of Frenchmen everywhere. For Head, like all successful jockeys, the pace on race day is intense. Only minutes after his stirring win, Head weighs out for the day's next race, the $1 million Juvenile for colts. He's followed on the scales by Hall of Famer Lafitte Pincay, who has won this event twice in the past 4 years. Pincay wears the recognizable silks of Eugene Klein, whose lightning bolt emblem recalls his football days as owner of the San Diego Chargers. In this race, Pincay would ride Klein's Is It True, another talented Lucas-trained runner. However, most of the attention was focused on the highly touted Easy Goer from the powerful Phipps stable. This was the 6th call to the post in Easy Goer's young career. Riding the big chestnut colt was Pat Day, himself a 4-time Breeders' Cup winner. Julie Crone was back for her second ride of the day aboard Dr. Bizarre. This race was doubly important because the best of these 2-year-old colts would be back in the spring to compete in the Run for the Roses. Easy Goer was the overwhelming betting choice as he approached the gate. Trainer Shug McGahee watched as his colt had anything but an easy go right from the start. Racing on a muddy track for the first time, Easy Goer soundly bumped the horse to his outside, losing valuable ground early on. And while rallying in the final turn, he was still 6 lengths behind the front-running Lucas colt, Is It True, who showed no sign of weakening. Easy Goer would face the biggest challenge of his career in the stretch of Churchill Downs.
And Easy Goer now continues to gain for the back of the pack. 6 lengths off the lead as the field turns for home. They're set down for the drive. Is It True? Full out now to hold off Music Mare C. And Easy Goer looms boldly now, a threatening presence on the outside. They're in the final furlong. Easy Goer closing on the outside, a 60th from home. Is It True? Trying to hold on. Easy Goer can't get to him. It is It True who goes on to win it.
For Shug McGahee and Easy Goer, it was a disappointing loss. But for Lafitte Pincay and Is It True's owner, Eugene Klein, it was a moment of triumph.
When they got to the 8th hole, and I saw how hard they were riding Easy Goer, and our horse was still running strong, I thought we had a great chance. When they hit the wire, I think I just let it all hang out and jumped up and down. Well, that's about as excited as I think I ever got. I don't think I got that excited when Winning Colors won the Derby.
Once again, D. Wayne Lucas found himself in the Breeders' Cup winner's circle. This time bringing Eugene Klein his second victory of the day. Part of the fun at every racetrack, and especially on Breeders' Cup Day, is an entertaining little game called betting. It is an opportunity for the often opinionated patron to declare his support for a particular horse.
It's being able to pick an animal you believe has a chance to win and then place your bet on it and collect if you're right. So you get vindication if you're right.
The fans, with the aid of a program or racing form, try to figure out exactly who that winner will be. The results, depending on who you talk to, are always different.
Drive all the way from Altoona, Pennsylvania to play 7-11 when it should have been at 10. But we're here and we love it.
It's my first time I've ever been to a race. It's great. It's fantastic. We just hit for $60, man, first time out. He thinks I'm a guru.
And so the fun continued, as the faithful fans lined up for the day's next race, the $2 million Breeders' Cup Turf. In this international event, the top American contender was a 3-year-old colt named Sunshine Forever.
Better than the inside is probably a little deeper because we stay there. So around and the grass come off, you know.
Trainer John Veach and jockey Angel Cordero planned their strategy. Their main concern was the race favorite Indian Skimmer, a filly from England that ran her best over soft courses like this one today. The graying skies couldn't dim the crowd's excitement as the horses paraded to the post. Leading the horses onto the course was jockey Ray Seville aboard Great Communicator, another American standout.
Ready for the start of the 5th Breeders' Cup Turf. They're off. Great Communicator broke right in stride now. He's out to take the early lead. Sunshine Forever also came away in good order, and he's right there. Indian Skimmer is out fast now. She's 4 wide heading for the turn. Triptych is up close.
As the mile-and-a-half equine marathon began, Great Communicator, who led last year's turf for nearly a mile, again sprinted to the front.
Then it is Malicious, followed by St. Andrews. And Sarhoub is the trailer. A tight pack now as they round the first turn. Great Communicator is prompted by Sunshine Forever.
Fearful of allowing an uncontested lead, Angel Cordero kept Sunshine Forever a close-up second, knowing that Indian Skimmer would not be far behind.
Now they pass by us for the first time. It is still Great Communicator. Ray Seville trying to nurse that speed. Sunshine Forever is under a snug hold. Triptych is now up close early and edging closer to Great Communicator. A comfortable pace here. Infamy is just in behind Horses, and Indian Skimmer now is drafting in behind Horses as they move into the second turn. And it's St. Andrews, Malicious.
Up the backstretch, Great Communicator continued to show the way, while Sunshine Forever remained poised in second.
Easy, Angels. Not too much now.
Two, and now Ray Seville asking Great Communicator for run. They're trying to shake loose from Sunshine Forever, who looms a threatening menace just off his flank on the outside. Triptych is right there, still close, running in third position. Frankly Perfect, a perfect trip so far. He's right there toward the inside. Great Communicator now, Asperani. Sunshine Forever, a powerful presence. He's right at his neck, and there he goes. Sunshine Forever now on the outside.
Going into the turn for home, the patient Cordero mounted his challenge. With Sunshine Forever and Great Communicator battling for the lead on the rail, the European stars, Triptych and Indian Skimmer, began a challenge of their own as the horses turned in unison for the run through the stretch.
Indian Skimmer on the outside. Those two set down for the drive. Sunshine Forever.
Come on,
He's
Great
not
Communicator,
Great
stay out there.
Communicator. The four of them across the track in a dramatic confrontation. Great Communicator, Indian Skimmer, Sunshine Forever, roaring back in between.
Come on, Angel.
Great Communicator, unveiling. Sunshine Forever, determined. Great Communicator. Great Communicator will not be denied. Sunshine.
Jockey Ray Seville celebrated his upset win. But for Seville, the key to victory was the hard work of his longtime friend, trainer Thad Ackle.
Well, I think it was Thad. He just went with this one horse, and that's all he had on his mind was this winning this race, and he just had him to fit to perfection that day.
And for 33-year-old Ackle, it was truly the stuff dreams are made of.
I could not believe it. It was something that I've been shooting for a long time, and it's so gratifying. It makes all of the hard times worthwhile.
For these two close friends, it was a shared triumph.
You know, I know it's meant a lot to Ray, so it's been a mutual success. You know, we both enjoyed it together, and I think it meant as much to both of us.
I've been riding almost 20 years now, and there's nothing, the whole 20 years couldn't have combined to get that feeling that I had when we hit the wire.
The impending darkness added to the drama surrounding the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. The star attraction was the 1987 Kentucky Derby champion Ali Sheba. Like most classic horses, Ali Sheba is descended from greatness. His father, the gallant Alidar, has already become one of the world's best young sires. In the attempt to upset Ali Sheba, one likely prospect was trainer Woody Stevens' 49er. Another was seeking the gold, the final entry of the day for the Phipp stable. A golden opportunity indeed for these two precocious sons of Mr. Prospector to strike it rich. As America's leading sire, Mr. Prospector sent a record 8 offspring to the Breeders' Cup. Mr. Prospector shares the good life on the farm with the son of the great Nijinsky, first-year stallion Ferdinand. Ferdinand captured the '87 Classic in a dramatic photo finish win over Ali Sheba.
Judge Angelotti desperate. Ferdinand right there. Ali Sheba on the outside. Ferdinand on the outside. Ali Sheba. Ferdinand has the lead. Ali Sheba, a final surge. The two Derby winners hit the wire together.
Ali Sheba's jockey, Chris McCarron, remembered that day, but looked to the future.
But in that particular race, he was a little bit spotty. He would stop, go, and he shows a lot more determination this year, a lot more perseverance.
much more businesslike.
The other half of Ali Sheba's team was Jack Van Berg, the world's all-time winningest trainer. With a victory in the Classic, Ali Sheba would surpass the great John Henry to become the world's richest horse. McCarron, who rode them both, compared the two champions.
As far as the relationship goes with their personalities and so forth, they're great. They're both real competitors, real champions in their own right, both just fantastic horses to be around.
But this was Ali Sheba's time in the spotlight, and Jack Van Berg shared the moment with his superstar every step of the way. And while Ali Sheba stepped onto the track, Van Berg could only head for his seat to watch and hope. As the nation's most popular horse took his final warm-up, electricity filled the air. The world's richest race was about to begin.
Breeders' Cup Day is a day to crown champions. Now time for the jewel in the crown, the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic, and they're off. Slow City, Slow breaks alertly, and 49er is moving right with him. Walk Quite is out for the early lead now, and Cutlass Reality on the outside. Ali Sheba's come out fifth, and as they pass beneath the twin spires for the first time.
In their usual running style, McCarron kept his long striding colt off the rail, comfortably positioned behind the leaders, as the horses made their way through the first turn of the 1.25 Mile Classic.
Walk Quite pressed all the way by Slough City Slough. Cutlass Reality is 5 lengths off them in third. It's another 4 to Ali Sheba now, who is 8 lengths off the lead. And just to his inside, 49er now. Julie Crone asking him for run.
Sheba! All right, baby, turn on. Turn on.
Ali Sheba begins the roll now. He's making his move as they round the far turn. And then Personal Flag and Seeking the Gold are both moving together now as they come to the top of the stretch. Crypto Clarence is kicking in now, and he's moving into contention. He's just 5 lengths off the lead. Then it's Lively One. 49er is now the trailer as the
Hang in there. Hang in there.
Ali Sheba set down for the drive. Personal Flag is moving through an opening toward the rail. Seeking the Gold on the outside. They're coming to the final furlong. Walk White is tenacious. Ali Sheba is right there. And on the outside, Seeking the Gold. Ali Sheba with a short lead. He's unyielding. Seeking the Gold. A final move as they come to the wire. And Ali Sheba, America's horse, has done it.
It was a time for Jack Van Berg and owners Dorothy and Pamela Scarborough to rejoice.
Ali Sheba wins the world's richest horse race, and he's now the world's richest horse.
For Van Berg and Ali Sheba, it was a long road to the Breeders' Cup Winner's Circle.
Congratulations. Boy, this is great.
And while Clarence Scarborough congratulated Chris McCarron, Jack Van Berg paused to record the results of a dream come true. On a wet November evening, Ali Sheba had taken his place in thoroughbred racing history.
He knows what this is about. He loves that stuff. Look at him, he's eating it up. Woo!
And so, as America's horse came to the winner's circle for the final time, there was only one title yet to be his.
He's went from California to New York, to Louisiana, to New Jersey, to Kentucky. He's won everywhere we've taken him.
But it was his victory in the Breeders' Cup Classic that would earn Ali Sheba racing's highest honor, 1988 Horse of the Year. On the day after the 5th Breeders' Cup, the spires of Churchill Downs stood quietly above the soft sounds of the morning workouts. But if one listened closely, this storied race course still echoed with the special memories from the night before. The memories of trainer D. Wayne Lucas and his unparalleled 3 Breeders' Cup wins. First with Angel Cordero aboard America's best sprinter, Gulch. Then again with Cordero on Eugene Klein's filly, Open Mind. And finally, the victory of Breeders' Cup Juvenile Colt Champion, Is It True, with Lafitte Pincay. In the memory of a brilliant championship defense by the French filly Miesque and her jockey Freddie Head. And the memory of Ray Seville's Breeders' Cup ride on Great Communicator will live with Thad Ackle forever. The memory of the undefeated filly, Personal Ensign, who won the hearts of everyone, especially jockey Randy Romero, with her courageous victory. One that helped earn Shug McGahee Trainer of the Year honors, and Ogden Phipps the Owner and Breeder of the Year titles. But the outstanding memory was that of Ali Sheba, whose unforgettable performance will live in the annals of racing history as he became the richest horse in the world. For racing fans everywhere, these were the memories of the champions in Kentucky.